Yo, how we doing, guys? Another episode of CK101. Shout out to the people already here in chat. We got Mitch, we got Top Hat Bear, we got Bo. Really happy that we see Mitch here because I know that I accidentally stream at the same time as Mitch, and I feel really bad because I want to watch Mitch's stream at the same time. But it's like, ooh. But hey, here we are on a Thursday. How we all doing? I'm in Pennsylvania right now. It is like strangely really warm, and it's gonna like drop to like 40 next week, so hey, gonna be fun. But yeah, short stream today. First of all, CKL has some games going on. Second, no ECRC really at all. There was a couple matches that were rescheduled, but really because FFA and the majority of Forest matches were already done, nothing really to go over there. So yeah, short stream. Then I gotta go because not only do I have a war at 9 Eastern, but I think I have a war at 9 Eastern, but I'm just doing a lot of prep for Steel City Sprint. If you are in the Pennsylvania, New Jersey, New York, Delaware, Virginia, Maryland area, feel free to come by. The problem is if you come by, I can't guarantee you will play because I'm apparently at maximum, and I never thought that would happen. So, but if you're able to come, would love to see you guys there. But yeah, let's get started. Screen share. Okay, let's start off. How we maxed out. We're about to be at 36. And if I'm being quite honest with you, I didn't think I would. I wanted the goal to be 48, and then I'm looking at time constraints and I'm thinking 36 is safer. And I didn't think we would hit 36, but it looks like we're gonna hit 36, and I don't know what to do. Because there's talks about staff for let's just make it 4-player split screen, and I'm like, yeah, no. No. I make the compromise already to do the 2-player split screen because of space constraints, but 4 players is not happening at any tournament I run. So, but yeah, thank you, Top Hat Bear. Congrats on reaching the max. It's gonna be fun. I'll say that. Added an extra $25 to the prize pool. If you don't believe me, if you're going to the event, all of these 4 envelopes have the cash in them. I'm pretty sure it's appropriately counted. We'll get to that, hopefully, there. So that's going to be real fun. Zay's birthday is also that day, so just going to be... It's his birthday party, I guess. Kind of crazy, but yeah. Should be a good time. Let's kick off with Division 4, because Division 4, I have some explaining to do. So if you... Giving away his child support money... This was before I found out you were my kid, so everyone must bring Zay gifts. We could do that. I won't lie, I was at Target yesterday. I saw they're selling Mario-themed Easter baskets, and I was very much considering grabbing one for Zay. Just as a little bit of a birthday gift, why not? So, that'll be fun. So, D4. If you haven't kept up with Division 4, I don't blame you. Because of the 6 matches that got played, of the 6 scheduled matches, 3 of them ended in a forfeit. The 2 of them were a 5v6, and the 6th one didn't get played. So, will there be cake? How do we want to say it? I think we're trying to get Cheesecake Factory, cheesecake or something, for Zay, because he's never gone before. I think we might just have to get it, delivered or something, or ordered, because I don't think we're going to have complete time to go as, an entire tournament, nor did I expect that, but, hey, it's funny also. Well, Cheesecake Factory Poggers, we'll get Mitch to come, too, because, I think Moravian is at least going to go afterwards as, a staff thing, and then, and for me to, recover after that. I have to play Paradigm, I think, the next day also, so it's, ugh. But yeah, that'll be fun. And then, what else? Yeah. I'm pretty sure you guys, already know this, but, we're gonna be saying happy birthday to Zay also. It works because, one, there's a ton of people from Moravian. Moravian's Mario Kart team is, half music students. So, it makes sense. Tech is a music student. Mitch is a music educator. So, we have the talent there. We're gonna sing happy birthday for Zay. So, if he's not watching, that's for the best right now. So he gets surprised, but he watches my VODs, I think. So I can't say everything because I kind of want to keep some things a surprise at the tournament, but we'll get to that eventually. But yeah, there's like I don't know how it's gonna go. Because the Cheesecake Factory that opened up near Moravian is still like packed every day because it's like relatively new. So I don't know how we're gonna go about like actually going as like a group or something like that. I should just like reserve like an entire like thing, like 30. Yeah, can I have a reservation for 30? What? Oh, what's the occasion? There was a Mario Kart tournament. Muting that will work. Nah, that's all good, bitch. Thank you for working though. Appreciate the viewership. So, D4. Of the matches that played, here's what happened. New Mexico against the University of Florida ended up in a 523 to 461 win for the University of New Mexico. G72 with a 134. Ice with a 93. Bean 87. Donnie 80. Yellow 75. Dale 54. Meanwhile from Florida, Hobby 151. Max 92. Amelia 72. Drizzy 55. Monkey Ninja 54. And the Bot 37. It's so sad that I have to say bot, but like that's the recurring theme in D4 for this week, that there just wasn't players like ever. Like there was like no players for this event for this week. So like we'll get to that later, but it's been rough. But if you're New Mexico, this is a good win because yeah, sure 6v5, not ideal, but there's some good statements here. G72 dropping the 134. I don't know who G72 was picked up by in fantasy off the top of my head, but G72 is a big name and really doing well. New Mexico as a whole, after like kind of stumbling through Pacific League, has kind of just emerged as a really solid team in D4, and I'm really excited to see what's going to happen. I haven't given the full like, division update yet because it feels kind of weird when like only 2 matches got played, but I'll update it eventually and probably post it by tomorrow. Ice and Bean also offering great support too. I think that's something that you're really excited to see if you're rooting for New Mexico. Just having these extra players who are just able to put up these consistent numbers. Because really, New Mexico, they struggled in Pacific League, but that's just the general thing with any team that plays from going from collegiate to the greater competitive scene, especially because Pacific League is kind of stacked, like across all divisions. But overall, for New Mexico, that's completely fine, dear. New Mexico is OU light? That's actually a good way to put it. I think, at least. It's hard to tell because New Mexico kind of is starting to show the carry in terms of G72. Like, I'm going to quick look at their average. Player averages here. G72, Bean, Donnie. Okay, so weirdly enough, I think the team that New Mexico reminds me the most of, well, there's a couple that come to mind. UNI, because you have Lemons Archie, and it's kind of just what G72 and like Ice are becoming. Maybe like Virginia Tech, maybe just because they have Ice. There's two Ices in CKL, and one's in D4, one's in D2. Yeah, because like Oklahoma, UNM I think has depth, but I think they have a bit more of a carry to call them like in Oklahoma. If G72 keeps playing like this, then maybe New Mexico's UCLA. We'll see. It's hard to tell this early with the sample size, but we'll see more as it progresses throughout the season. Or maybe New Mexico just, that's what I'm thinking. It's like the Cairo Joy plus 4 strong UCLA players. So I'm thinking that's what they might be like, but it's really hard to tell. Oh, sorry, had to respond to a ping for commentary for Splatoon on weekend. So, yeah, that's fun. But, yeah, like a mini UCLA-ish, but I think New Mexico's got to try and establish their own identity, and I think that's just really exciting for them to see. We'll see how they progress going on this season. Florida. Hobby dropping the 151. This is going to be such an interesting race for like MVP because you have Hobby from Florida, you have Dummy from UWO, G72 from New Mexico, and a lot of other big names down here. But the 151 is absolutely crazy here, and Max had a bit of an off game, but maybe that's just the 5v6 there. You have to do a lot. You have to play, like playing the 5v6 in CKL. It's very hard. So actually having to play from that perspective, just like Solution is not going to be able to make it today, sadly, but you just ask Solution. Playing with a bot is like very difficult. Just look at what happened in Alabama all of last season. So seeing some of the statistics drop off isn't like too scary for them, and Florida is still a very strong team, going 2-0 before the season started, but also they dropped both games because one being a 5v6, two having to forfeit a match, which we will discuss soon. But overall, from Florida, this is not a bad result. Like, only 62 down with a bot. I will say, a lot of the 5v6s this season have been pretty close, relatively speaking. I think we're so used to seeing, like, if you have a bot, you're automatically losing by 100. But you're seeing teams keep it really competitive or even win, which is, like, insane to think about here. But that's basically what's happened. Moving on. Western versus McDaniel. This was another one that was a 5v6. I remember McDaniel, Sambert was DMing me beforehand, talking about like how rough it was going to be for McDaniel to have a 5v6, but it happens. It happens. It's unfortunate though, because like McDaniel is getting really decent, but like look, it's only a 40 difference, a 512 from Western, and then 472 from McDaniel. It's literally one top 6. The bot dropped to 58 for McDaniel. I think let's talk about McDaniel first. Glacial 95, Mudkip 91, Sambert 86, then 81, Toxic 61, bot 58. This is one of the best bot performances I've ever seen. This is not the best bot performance I've ever seen, but this is up there. Dropping almost 60 points is actually... If a bot does that, you are so happy. Like, to see a bot drop anything more than, like, 40 is, like, crazy. Dropping near 60 is just absolute insanity. But really, the rest of McDaniel played decent, too. So, Glacial 95, Mudkip 91. We knew that Glacial was really developing into a strong player on their own. And I'm thinking, like, Glacial is, like, one of the futures of the scene, at least over at McDaniel. So you can see them, like, maybe being a real good threat down at the D4 level, maybe D3 next year if McDaniel still gathers. Mudkip also. Mudkip's developing into like that second, third option that McDaniel's been looking for, especially with Sambert kind of taking more of the leadership role, more of the tournament organization role. I think having Mudkip really step up here is a great sign for McDaniel. And then Sambert, then Toxic. Solid performance from all of them. Sambert's been playing well this season. Then 81, very good. And Toxic dropping 61 in a 5v6, helpful as well. So this is like a very strong, well-rounded performance from McDaniel. This is similar to what you would see at like in Oklahoma, actually, which is kind of weird to think about. But UWO, this is what to be expected. Domi only putting up a 142. What their average is gonna drop. Oh, the humanity. Because like, oh my gosh. Only 142 after dropping the 180. Oh, they're in divs. They're in this. They're only going to be averaging like 150, 140 now. Who knows? But still amazing stuff, all things considered. Ironcraft 110, Eugene 89, Eatham 70, Ninja 62, and Agent CY 39. This was overall, yeah, UWO is looking really good. Granted, it was a 5v6, but when you have Domi dropping points like that, that is hard to beat out. Like, yeah. It's reminiscent of, like, Cairo in UCLA right now. Reminiscent of, like, Tech at some points for Kutztown. Isaiah numbers, pretty much, with Morgan. Ice or Cynical when one of them is gone. For BT. Short numbers with Michigan. No, with House Divided last season. These numbers are, like, yeah, it's reminiscent of those, but it's even better at this point. I wonder, this is probably going to set the highest average rate. Remember, I think the highest average was like 130 something from Creo last season. The race to see if Domi can beat that out is going to be very fun to see. I'm actually really excited to see that maybe push towards history, I guess. But really, you can't ignore any of UWO. Ironcraft and Eugene especially are looking really strong this season. If you're able to add an extra 100 points with the 142, like, that's borderline unfair. So, for your UWO, once they get things going and the rest of the lineup gets that consistency, I'm really excited for this team, and they're looking like one of the favorites in D4. And now the problem is, those were the only matches that played this season. They're gonna play this week. EIU versus UCSD2, Trinity College Clown Squad. I think I did that right. If I didn't, I'm sorry. Yeah, this was a forfeit in favor of UCSD2. UCSD2 also beat Florida by forfeits. Oh, thank God. And then UWO beat EIU by forfeit. And technically, McDaniel would have to forfeit Circus. Okay, I knew Triton Circus. It was a Clown College squad that I wasn't as sure of. So, yeah. There were 3 forfeits. And then New Mexico McDaniel was rescheduled to a later week, which is normally against the rules. So, but McDaniel's on spring break right now, and it'd be hard for them to gather both this past week and for this weekend. So I just gave D4 an extension, like a college professor would, I guess. So all 3 of these matches are now reopened. If they don't agree on a time to reschedule these by the end of the season, then these results will stay. But because I don't think I think it's really weird and whack to kind of watch half the division forfeit a match and then have 2 matches be a 5v6. I think it just because spring break is such a problem in terms of scheduling, it just got to give that flexibility, I guess, just to have matches played. I remember going through the CKL rule set, and I remember seeing in all red, staff has discretion to do override rules if it's in the spirit of the event. And if you want my transparency, I think in the spirit of event, you don't want to just go through forfeit wins. I remember coaching Moravian last season where they had to take a bunch of forfeit wins because they just weren't able to gather outside of default time. They have more availability now, which is great. But seeing forfeit or after forfeit, you don't want to see that. Division 3. I think all of them are done. I could be wrong. Was this one? Oh, this from this week. That's rough. Okay, 4. Moravian versus Saints. For real. Oh, man. Saints Karting versus Moravian was in a 512 to 472 win for Saints Karting. Bonkers 122, Guilty Echo 118, Mumu 106, Dream 88, Shamaud 54, Chariot 24. And then for Moravian, Angle 109, Wumbo 96, Nox 71, Moon 68, Mighty 65 in 11 races, Baja 61, and then Isabel CPU for 1 race. I remember for Moravian, it was just... Oh yeah, we'll talk about Angle. So, Angle's been great, so we'll get to that. I remember for Moravian, it was just, are we going to get 6? And then Mighty showed up at with 3 minutes to go. That's why they weren't able to get that last one. But amazing stuff overall from them. So Saints Karting played really well, honestly, and it was close. Really, just a couple races going their way, and I think you could have seen a very different result. But Bonkers, Guilty, and Mumu are very good players. This is insane stuff for them. This is, if you want the comparison to another team, Saints Karting is this kind of structure. This reminds me of Michigan, outright, where you have the Whooper, the Crow, the Short, and then the other 3 are kind of hit or miss sometimes because I think they're inconsistent. But look, Bonkers, Guilty, and Mumu are the most experienced players on this team, and then the others are trying to learn the game as well. But if you're Saints Karting, this is a very solid season for them at the moment. They went 0-2 last week, I think, but I think they at least won 1. So this is good stuff overall. Bonkers, Guilty, and Mumu, that's a trio that's very scary to deal with. So I'm really interested to see what happens for them going forward. And then you're looking at Dream. Dream, I think, it went under the radar because we all knew about the big 3 from Saints Karting. But if Dream's able to keep this consistency up, then I think SK is going to have a very strong shot. And one thing you want to consider, and we'll go over this soon, but D3, the playoff push is going to be very interesting because you could legitimately argue that the seeds that like 5 teams will be fighting for 2 spots. There's only one team I think who's going to have like an almost lock by the way they've been playing lately, which we'll talk about soon. But you don't want to like really miss out on any of these teams because like there's going to be a good chance here. Meanwhile, for Moravian, Angle 109, Wumbo 96, Nox 71, Moon 8, Mighty 65, Baja 61. So, yeah, Angle's been playing great. Like, I remember watching and thinking, yeah, this kid's going to be really good really soon. And so it's like, and he's hitting his prime, like, really quickly. And, like, not only in, like, CKL, but yeah, as Help at Bear, Angle's playing well for, like, outside the CKL community too, which is like really exciting to see. And I think the extra work there is really helping out with Moravian because like the longest time I remember after heading into this school year, the question was who was going to be like the carry of sorts for Moravian now that I'm not eligible to play. So an Angle just comes out of nowhere as a freshman and just like, yeah, boom, puts up these numbers, but also it's just a crazy work ethic. This kid is putting regionaling at 4 a.m., which I should not be condoning, but I'm also part of the reason he's doing that. And then like we're talking MK, like we're having like meta discussion, we're strategizing for Moravian at like 3 a.m., which I should not be condoning, but that's what I'm doing. So yeah, he's one of the favorites to potentially have a deep run at Steel City Sprint, by the way. Also commentating, so if you want the Angle face reveal, he'll be on my stream. He'll be opening the show. Actually, it's right there. It's during the same time as Paradigm, which is rough. But hey, Wumbo has also gotten really good. So I remember Wumbo getting picked up by Interstellar, and I remember talking to Wumbo over, I think towards the end of last semester. I think it was around November-ish, thinking like, yeah, he's wanted to start looking out for a team. And I remember vouching that Interstellar would be such a good like group because like of the infrastructure there. So, and I'm really excited to see how it all paying off. His game sense has gotten better. His lines especially are a lot better now. So it's really cool to see Wumbo getting some credit here and really getting his points reflect on his performance because like really he's been improving a lot. Love to see it. Moon played with a concussion, so the fact that he played at all was kind of like amazing. To say the least, he doesn't play very often anymore, which is sad, but he's able to put up a serviceable amount of points even with a concussion. Nox put up one of the best performances she's had in a while, so that's been exciting. Mighty also coming in clutch, and then Baja to bring up the rear. Baja played a lot from the back, just like in terms of like enemy scouting, and Baja is like really good in terms of like playing like in the mid pack spot. So like very underrated in terms of their like playstyle, but it's like really helpful for this team in Moravian. UAH versus Moravian. This is a 5v6 sadly, but we got a 516 to 468 win in favor of Moravian. Angle 121, Baja 106, Wumbo 100, Nox 73, Moon 72, Mighty 44. Meanwhile for UAH, Creo 120, Green 112, Cheese 82, Dracia 79, Cordy 54, and the Wiggler Bot 21. This was fairly close, actually. It was kind of back and forth in the first 3 races. And then, I'll be right back. I'm going to grab something to explain the story here. So, if you want to start here. So, race 1, I think, went UAH's way. Race 2 went Moravian's way. Race 3, I want to say, was on Maple Tree Way. And then Moravian kind of had a run, and then Angle was running on Maple Tree Way towards the end. And then he gets readied out on Glider by Creo. Angle did a me and hit his controller on the table, and then he DC'd out of like frustration. It's been a bit pent up there. So he Angle DC's on what would have been probably actually close to maybe a win. even winning, even like or slightly losing race, and that was a rough loss from Moravian there. And yeah, as a result of Angle DCing, if you don't know, I coach Moravian in person, so I watch all this happen. And so sometimes I bring a whiteboard. I started bringing a whiteboard, by the way. If you're in the Buzz server, you know this. And this is what happened to the whiteboard after Angle DC'd. I broke this over my knee, so as like it can't be doing that type of thing. It's yeah, so it's a $5 whiteboard. It really doesn't mean much, but like rough. And then if you think that's crazy, immediately after the whole DC and the whole broken whiteboard stuff, Moravian top 6th. Moravian got a top 6 after I broke a whiteboard over my knee. After Angle DC'd and after I broke a whiteboard, they got top 6. That's never happened before at Moravian. So it's like the motivation. This is like the legitimate like the college sports thing, or like any college or like any sport thing where they break the clipboard over the knee, or just break the clipboard and then they get motivated. Yeah, broken clipboard or a broken whiteboard is now the reason Moravian got top 6. And once they got the top 6, they just got confidence, and then they were able to just go away and just kind of control the game there. If you look at more at the individual perspective, Angle played well again. Angle's been playing really well this season, and like the whole race for Division 3 MVP is going to be close because you have Milkshake, Angle, Zay, Bonkers, Marcoco. A lot. There's a lot here. And then like the UAH, you have Green and Creo playing well too. Baja and Wumba both broke 100 for the first time, so like that was really happy for them. Nox is back after kind of slumping lately, dropping more, also PBing since their best score I think since like October. So that's really great to see. Moon dropping 72 with a concussion, and Mighty bit less consistent here, but I know that's been the general theme of Mighty lately. But able to drop a 44, able to just hold it down there. Meanwhile for UAH, Rio 120. Green 112, Cheese 82, Jossie 79, Corey 54. Solid result. Creo's been playing well. Like, I remember last week we were thinking, is Creo not the number 1 option anymore? And then nope, Creo shuts that down pretty easily. Dropping that 120, Green with the 112 then also. Green has developed really well. And I'm thinking that's actually really exciting here to see if you're a UAH supporter. And then having Creo and Green are a super strong duo. And Cheese is developing into the number 3, number 4. And then Dracius is playing consistent too. When Space Captain gets back in and is like more consistent, I think that UAH is going to be really strong. When a Thurlite is back also, I think this could have gone really close down the wire. But this is a great table for both teams here. UAH still looks strong even in a 5v6, and Moravian gets a much needed win. FIU versus Morgan State, 545 to 439 as it was 106 in favor of FIU. Milkshake 148, Nick is Cool 92, Ted Bear 90, Star the Cat 82, Dragon Slayer 71, and then Rex 62. Meanwhile, for Morgan State, you got Zay with a 114, Cloud with a 79, Nitro 75, Iron Man 64, Obsidian 57, Ronin 50. The big thing here is FIU is no joke. I remember being kind of hesitant to put FIU in Division 2, but like, do you see the results FIU's doing? This is a big win. This is a statement win over Morgan, both these teams are undefeated going into this. And I think people expect the Morgan to be the potential favorite here, but FIU, this is amazing stuff for them. Milkshake is putting up MVP numbers now with the 148 there. We weren't sure if they were going to have like that kind of same like consistency going from D3 of last season to D3 of this season, basically moving up a division still. In a mixed scrim with UCSD, B team against FIU, teamwork against the opponent's top player. Oh my god, yeah. Nick and Ted are such smart players. Okay, we'll talk about that actually. Because yeah, Nick in the 92 and Ted with a 90. I think I'm gonna push for a Captain of the Season award in like each division. I think Ted Bear is legitimately one of the best captains I've ever seen. You could tell just from like his talk in his like interview in like my seeding stream. But Ted Bear, there's whatever he is doing over at FIU is like freaking amazing. When he graduates, that is the person I want like coaching a team. Like if you're like, I don't know, some new program getting into like CKL, getting into ECRC or whatever we're gonna call it next year. When the moment Ted Bear graduates, you want Ted Bear to coach. I feel like Ted Bear is going to stick to FIU, which would make sense. But like Ted Bear's like game sense is so underrated, and the ability to help develop this team into a big win over Morgan, that is beautiful to watch there. And having that team play there, I'm really excited to watch Moravian play Morgan. No, Moravian play FIU. Also Morgan, actually, now I think about it. But actually, I hope I can make it for that one. I think I'm gonna be sad if I can't. But because I really want to see FIU play. FIU is such a good team. This is a team I want in like a primetime situation in the near future. Because like the amount of work this team is putting in top to bottom is kind of inspiring. Remember, I'm pretty sure they're playing Paradigm. I've never seen a collegiate team play Paradigm. There's been a few teams do MKU, and then there's been New Mexico who did Pacific League. MK University originally started as a Pacific League team, but then it's like, whatever FIU is doing, I think by the end of the semester, maybe not by the end of the semester, by by next fall, I want to see FIU move up, if they're not already. But FIU, at the rate they're going, don't be surprised to see if this team moves up to like high D2 at the rate of progression they have. This is a team that I think might legitimately play over the summer. And that's very exciting. I'm really looking forward to it. Meanwhile, if you're Morgan, you can tell they just had a rough matchup here. Like, yeah, Top Hat Bear hit the nail on the head. Limiting Zay is the biggest thing you can do against Morgan. Because if you let Zay go off, then Morgan kind of struggles. Because when Zay plays well, Nitro plays well. And then the rest of the team follows. They kind of just... It's one of those teams where like they really play off of the strength of their best player. Playing like off the ace, if you want to say it from like a sports anime thing. And it's like, when Zay gets limited... And I love how we say limited as if 114 isn't like an amazing performance. But we expect so much from Zay. To see the 114 is like kind of surprising. But this is just like a plus 100 win in favor of FIU. Morgan doesn't lose by a lot usually. Like, I know they lost to Alabama pretty hard last season, and to, like, House Divided similarly, but, like, Morgan State, this was a wake-up call, I think, for them. I want to see what the rematch looks like going forward, and remember, this could be a potential playoff matchup, too. These are probably the two teams I'm the most confident in when it comes to, like, making a playoff run at the moment for D3, so I'm really excited to see how that goes, but overall, for Morgan... I think it was just like an off day for them, and that's just really, and it hurts to see, but excited to see what they can do in the run back coming forward. Now, this was hard to see. Unstable internet comes into play, and Morgan State has to forfeit against UAH. Not at all what you want to see here, but so Morgan goes 0-2 in this week, so they're now 2-2 on the season. UAH is split the week then. I don't see Nitro dropping 75 against FIU also. I think we're going to see something great from Nitro next time we see Nitro play. FIU then drops another statement win in a 5v6 against Nebraska. We're looking at a 567 to a 417 win in favor of FIU. Milkshake 131, Ted Bear 103, Nick is Cool 98, Dragon Slayer 93, Star the Cat 73, Rex 69. Meanwhile for Nebraska, Mop 103, Mark Coco 93. Mop 103, Mark 93, Zoo 83, T-Bug 60, Crazy 48, and the Buckets 30. So when we started seeing the 5v6s, this is the result I was used to seeing. So this means a lot more than you think. Because yes, it's a 5v6, but like look at across all divisions, when you see 5v6s, they've been a lot closer than you think. Remember, UAH against Moravian, that was like a 48. McDaniel UWO, that was a 40. Morgan Moravian last week was like a 24. So to see the 150, this is actually a bigger statement than it looks. And FIU is looking very strong. And remember, Nebraska now has the coaching buff because of Bo, which is hype as hell for them. But to see FIU dropping these numbers, remember we weren't sure if FIU was going to finish the season last time because they had a really dramatic case of like half the team just dropped before the start of week 1. So we weren't sure if they were going to be able to gather. And they had to forfeit a bunch for play 5v6s. And now to see FIU do this is like really inspirational. And I'm really happy to see this early because you have Milkshake with the 131, Ted Bear getting his points with the 103, and like almost the entire team drops over 70. This is a very consistent team, a very strong team. FIU is going to be a very big threat going forward. And then for Nebraska, obviously you don't want to see a 5v6, but things happen. Not a terrible result for them either. 103, 93, 83. You're doing what they could here. It's a shame they didn't have to play in the 5v6, but things happen. And then big win for Nebraska here. 514 to 470 over Saints Harding. Mark Coco with a 110. Zoo 94, Crazy 94, Mop 83, T-Book 71, Sarazen 49, and Jack the Raccoon 13. They subbed in for each other. And then for Saints Harding, Bonkers 126, Mumu 112, Guilty 108, Cherry at 55, Shimao at 44, Alex 25. If you're Nebraska, this is big. This is almost an Oklahoma special. Is it? It's close. It's close to being an Oklahoma. The Nebraska special. This is just like Midwest teams. Like legitimately. The teams just in the middle of the country, they just do this. They get the middle spots. That makes so much sense now. Watch you and I do this next time. Like they're just gonna get like the Midwest special. UCSD is Midwest now. Okay. I can see it. Be like rotate California around Midwest, Southwest. It's just like, okay, if you have West in your name, it might be a thing. Maybe. Yeah, if you're Nebraska, this is a solid result for them. Consistency wins here. And like, remember, I've been preaching it before this season started. Depth is going to be big in CKL. And having players who can have multiple players will drop over 70, that's going to win you games. And that's really great here because like Mark Coco can still go off. Zoo and Sarazen can go off. Crazy has been playing well now. And Mop played well as well as T-Bugs. Having that consistency is exactly what you want to see from Nebraska. And then Saints Harding, having that top 3 again is just, they're so good. They keep them in contention every time, which you love to see that. It's now, could they be the teachers that Bo is preaching? Because I remember Bo was very high on Saints Harding because like of the teaching aspect that these 3 can provide. And I believe it now. And now it's just going to be of when will we see it happen. Because when those other 3 become good, we are going to be seeing a very good team from Saints Harding in the future. That's it for D3. Yeah, I was going to say, when people say Midwest, they tend to mean an area around Wisconsin. I'm used to playing Smash like competitively, and when we split the regions up, Midwest is everything like from Ohio on. No, that's a lie. Pittsburgh West to like, I don't know, Minnesota is like Midwest-ish. And then like, it's kind of awkward to really determine that. That is a table. Or that's a lot of screens. I remembered Michigan State had a lot of DCs recently, which is rough. But Michigan State 525 against the University of Tennessee, Knoxville 459 plus 66 win for MIST. I don't know, 124, Nova 122, Jalapeno 97, Noah 78, Adler 57, Templar 47. Meanwhile for ATK, Karina / Evolved 134, 86 from Jay Guzzi, Ghost with 84, Moth 54, Silver 52, Cisco 49. Oklahoma is weird because it's like Midwest, South, and Southwest. Yeah, I have no idea where to label certain states, really, because it's like, we'll talk about that later, after I talk about the stable. I don't know, Innova? Holy. Dropping 124 and 122 respectively? That is great stuff to see from this team. Meanwhile, from Jalapeno 97, Jalapeno had a great game. Remember, this is Michigan State that didn't have Silver playing. They didn't have Nunley playing either. Yeah, Karina is Evolved. Top hat bear. I think their MKC name is Karina, but I've always known them as Evolved. And then Noah playing solidly, Adler and Templar rounding out the team. Michigan State is very good. Michigan State is very deep, which has been something that they had the argument to be D1. And I remember that if there was going to be any other team moving up to D1, it would be Michigan State and it'd be Virginia Tech. But we weren't sure about if they would be able to hold, and I think UCLA beat them in a scrim right before we finalized seedings, and that was the nail in the coffin. But Michigan State in D2, I don't think they're going to be D2 for much longer. I expect to see Michigan State in D1. I don't know if they're losing anyone to graduation after this spring, but if they're not, Michigan State's going to look really good going forward here, and I'm excited to see what they do the rest of the season. Meanwhile, Tennessee. Tennessee's had it rough this season. Been there at least, but Jalapeno's graduating. Oh, hey, I don't know. Few DCs to say the least, yeah. I remember looking at the table and it's what is that? Or the post right under, what is that? Yeah, Tennessee, this is a team that I think is developing. You could make the argument that maybe we should put FIU over UTK, but UTK played well in ECRC 4s, and I think we were just kind of looking at that as maybe D2, but I think the 6v6 transition has been a bit rough for Tennessee at the moment. Just now that they need that depth, really, and the depth isn't gotten there yet, just because a lot of them are new to the game. But to have a player like Evolve there, you can't count this team out for much longer. 134, very strong result from Evolve. And then Jay Guzzi also playing well as Ghost. And then the bottom three, it's more so just learning. It's trial by fire. They're just learning the game in D2, trying to see if they're able to keep up. And then from there, after this learning experiences, you got to get those losses out of the way. UTK might start to make some moves later down the season. Really depends, I think, on the rest of their thing. But I'll take a quick look of who UTK plays. Going forward here. Alabama, UNI. Okay. I just post every screenshot. I am so sorry that you had to do this. Alabama versus Iona. It's a shame Solution's not here because 1, we got a gas up Solution for the 154. 2, Alabama got 6 players. We weren't sure if that was going to happen at all this season. Because I remember they struggled with that last season too. But to see them get 6 players and to get a big win. Solution and Alabama. Great stuff. 514 to 470 win leads to a plus 44. Alabama over Iona. Solution with the 154, Jade 95, Bradshaw 87, Trombone 73, 62 from Sales, Thermal 43, Neil from Iona, Franken 111, Goji 89, Gold AJ 83, Yoshi 67, Jenny 64, Jones 56. Solution Masterclass. I remember I got a DM, I think, not long after this one from Solution, showing the tables, because holy, that's great stuff. Solution's one of my big picks for MVP of D2, and this is kind of why. The way they're able to develop players, Top Up Bear mentioned, Sales. Goated, honestly, apparently has a great mentality. We'd love to see that from Alabama. And to have players like Solution leading the way here, because when Solution plays well, players like Jay and Bradshaw also follow. And that's great to see because like it's like reminiscent of like what Zay does in like D2. I love to see it for our D3. I mean, love to see it from Alabama. Big result here, 154 especially from Solution. Man, that's a big result there. And then from Iona, it's been up and down for them so far. Yes, they're getting the consistency from Franken and Goji, but if you remember, a lot of this team didn't play much over winter break, and I think that's starting to bite them now. And like, yeah, there's still time in the season, but it's like it feels like that like championship hangover, pretty much from like last season has started to kick in, and like, yes, there's still time, but it's like wondering when is the time going to start ticking for Iona to really make things going. We're already halfway done with the season by this time next week, not counting for schedules and all that. But if Iona is able to get back to form, like players like Yoshi especially, if they're able to get back into like where they were last season, then they become really scary. It's just how long will it take for them to get back there? But overall, plus 44, or only down 44 against Alabama, not a bad result at all if you're Iona. Still a very strong team up and down. It's just like, when are they going to get that consistency back? Especially because Iona, Franken and Goji are both great players, but they don't have the carry. They don't carry as well as like Cynical, as I don't know, or Nova, as Ice, as Evolve, the Solution, Lemons, Archie. Iona has to focus more on depth compared to the other teams here. So it's like, will they get that depth to like really shine through in the later weeks? And Alabama over UNI once again, 521 to 463 in favor of the University of Alabama. Roll Tide, as Solution would say here. 138 from Solution, Jay 123, Bradshaw 100, Trombone 66, Sales 48, Thermal 46. Moving from UNI, Archie 121, Accident 87, Lemons 82, Dappy 79, Icy 51, Benton 43. 3 people from Alabama scoring 100. Solution dropped to the 138. This is a great week for Solution. Oh my lord. Jay also had a really strong week here, dropping to 123. When I think Jay's biggest demon is just like mentality. Because like I know Jay, just from what I've noticed, has been like up and down sometimes in terms of like consistency and like tilting. But when Jay is locked in, Jay will put numbers up like this. And that's what we want to see from Alabama. And now Alabama's looking great because now Bradshaw is developing really well. And you got some Trombone and Sales and Thermal playing. If they're able to just keep up consistency, Alabama is going to make a run for the playoffs maybe. And that's going to be really exciting because like once again, D2 is fun because I think Michigan State and I think Virginia Tech make playoffs. But then you have Alabama, UNI, Iona, Tennessee all fighting for that last spot. And chat, make your predictions now on who you think is taking that last spot in playoffs for D2. But it's going to depend on a lot of things. If Alabama is consistent like they are here, then they're going to make it. But if you're a team like UNI, who I think this was a bit of an off game, at least for Lemons at least, because like it's so weird to see Lemons drop like an 82 after everything we've seen. The progression from Lemons, one of the MVP favorites going into the season, having this a bit of adversity now. I'm really excited to see how they like respond going forward. But yeah, Archie doing very well. That's reminiscent of how they played last season with the 121 average, and then like Accident with the second place there on UNI with the 87. And Dappy is like surprisingly really good, honestly. And Icy is also solid. Benton, I know, gets memed on a bit, but Benton I think has potential. So when UNI just gets some things going, they had a bit of a rough start as well, I think, because they lost a 5v6 to Iona, and then just had to scrap some other wins together. But overall, if you're UNI, just getting back on the right foot next time, gonna be good for them. Okay, only one other result. Oh wow, that was close. Holy. Iona 493 to Tennessee 491. Holy, what a result. Goji 117. Franken 87, Yoshi 82, Jones 72, Gold AJ 71, Jenny 64. Meanwhile from Tennessee, Evolve 132, Ghost 113, Jay Guzzi 87, Moth 58, Cisco 52, and Ethan 49. This is almost the Midwest special, and Iona's in New York. So, as I was mentioning before, Iona, it's been up and down this season. They're going to be 2-2 after this week. So, but to see Goji and Franken kind of just alternate between the MVP role, that's kind of cool to see. And then having Yoshi, like, have a good comeback game, honestly. That's the stuff you want to see if you're an Iona supporter right here. We talked them a thing or two in D3. That is hilarious. But hey, not completely wrong. If you're Iona, this is what you want to see. Yes, it's a close result, but you got to get that win on the board. You got to beat the teams you got to beat if you're going to make a run for playoffs. And then for Tennessee was so close to a win here. It's rough to see it, but like Evolved and Ghost doing what they could. And then Jay Goosey putting up great numbers as well. The bottom three of Tennessee, not bad players. Don't get me wrong here. All these players are really solid, and they're going to learn from there. But, like, can make a good pairing the Platypus meme with Iona's Yoshis. I need to see that. Someone please do that. I would love that so much. Like, yeah, the moment you get that, the moment someone starts making pairing the Platypus memes with Iona's Yoshis, ping me immediately. Send them, DM me, whatever. Yeah, if you're Tennessee, the moment... Yoshi. Yoshi. That is amazing. I can't do a Doofenshmirtz voice, but oh my god, it's so good. Yeah, Tennessee, once those new players develop, they're going to be very scary. This team as a whole, because like you have players like Evolved who are going to be leading the way, and then it's just like, can these other players learn quickly? How fast are they going to learn to keep up? Because starting in D2 isn't easy. Look at Iona, who's hardened with the championship experience. They've played a season already. You have Alabama, who's played a while now. Michigan State, Virginia Tech, UNI. Tennessee's the only new team here. Yeah, they're the highest new team if you don't count the UCSD, UCLA, Michigan State, and Michigan splits. So, Tennessee being here, it's a hard learning experience, but I think towards the end of the season, you might see take some big names. Now, that's it for D2, I think, actually, for now. I think we're looking at a bunch of reschedules happening, which makes sense. I was talking to Bo about this, but they're really... Spring break has killed D2 in the same way it's killing D1. Not D1, D4. There's a lot to talk about here. Kutztown versus UCSD. 497 to 487 in favor of KU. Tech 143, Fatboo 117, Bo 76, Steepian 67, JK 851, MC 43. Then for UCSD, Astra 94, Nenaflight 90, Wallabies 89, Top Hat Bear 88, Super FX 81, Zach with 34 in 9 races, and Luna 11 in 3 races. This was a close match. I didn't watch all of it. I watched a bit of the Batboo's VOD going in, or Batboo's VOD after the fact. But this was close. I remember being like kind of on the edge of my seat, just looking at the results come in. Zach had to run halfway across campus. Oh my god. Oh, that is rough. That is rough to hear, Top Hat Bear. But yeah, if you're Kutztown is the master of taking wins by any means necessary, and they will win, and they will get that W whenever they need to. And yeah, you have Tech dropping to 143, Batboo 117. Those top two are really hard to beat. So that's like, it's when you're able to get that, like Tech and Batboo, just at this point, once those two players get going, it's going to be very hard to top. I got pinged. If that's what I think it is. I will show that on stream next, don't worry. And then yeah, Bo, Steepian, JK, and FC. This is I would argue this is Kutztown's top lineup. Because I think MC, Anomaly, Sunset are kind of interchangeable, but Bo, Steepian, JK8, No, knowing that there's no launch tray right now, but amazing stuff from them overall. So yeah, good win for Kutztown. Wondering how that's going to translate going forward to the season. I'm really excited for the run back though, because when you don't have the net issues, the logistical problems that UCSD apparently had, it'll be fun there. And then yeah, UCSD Astro 94, Nanoflight 90, Huawei Z9, Top Up 88. Wow, Super FX 81 also. Yeah, a lot of like middle spots. Yeah, I understand what you mean now, Top Hat Bear, with this like you're also Midwest. Looking at this, practicing for it because well, yeah, I'm excited. I really want this to be a playoff match in some capacity because this is gonna be so good. So yeah, UCSD. It's weird seeing a result like this because UCSD's biggest strength is also depth. But then it's like it's really weird. I'm so used to seeing at least one person like really pop off. So to see their 94 be their highest point score is like very interesting to me. And yeah, to see them not break 100 is just really interesting because like there's a lot of potential. Remember, UCSD has a lot of good players: Astro, Wallabies, Top of Bears, Super FX. I think I'll go over D1 predictions for playoffs as I talk about it. But I will say this. These two are the first two teams that come to mind for playoffs. At least based on how the season's been starting off for them. But yeah, for UCSD, I think that's going to be win with I was gonna say that does make sense. I do remember seeing that from Syllabus Week for you guys at UCSD. But yeah, to come this close with all the net issues, that's going to be a very interesting lineup for them going forward. And yeah, you do remember. I do remember that because they're playing against like House Divide, not House Divide, Michigan. You do have a lot of similar results. So excited to see with that for UCSD because like obviously things don't go their way in terms of this game, but hey, UCSD didn't lose at all in Syllabus Week. So this is actually really cool because now we get to see them play after a loss, and I think that you learn a lot from your losses, and to see them have that loss now. Granted, it's only the regular season, but I think it's going to do a lot for them, and I'm really excited to see what they do going forward. Miscoms and TKs, dang, understandable though. Kutztown versus University of Michigan, 541 to 443, plus 98 win in favor of Kutztown. Tech 136, Bapu 134, oh my god, Steepian 84, 79 from Bo, MC 57, JK 851. Then from Michigan, Whooper 119, Short 106, Toadmaster 64, maybe Aiden 63, C2D 250, Cat 41. Having Kutztown's top two go like this, when they go unchecked, it's hard to beat them. This is a very hard team to beat, honestly, when they're playing like this. So when we go over the week 3 results, that's going to be very telling. Because this is really great stuff from Kutztown overall. Having two people, they're combining for what? 270? That's like, yeah, and you need 493 to win. We'll talk about that soon, don't worry. And then, yeah, Kutztown overall, very strong results. And like they've been looking good. At this point they're 4-0 in the season, I'm pretty sure. And this is a team that's looking really hot. Remember, they had some rough scrims earlier in the preseason, but then preseason they lock in for the regular season, and they are looking very strong going forward here. Meanwhile, for UM, this is a Michigan without Crow again, and that's rough to see. But I know Crow's really busy on Saturdays, I guess, so it's been rough for them sometimes. But having Whooper in short there to lead the way, still they can at least do some damage. But they just got outran by Tech and Babu, just outplayed. So, and those things will happen. Sorry, I'm also having to gather for next hour. I gotta send out a quick war chat, war ping. Yeah, overall for Michigan, it's been rough because they're really struggling with availability, which you hate to see it, but I know a lot of teams are really not available past like the Saturdays, and then it's because I know like I've been in that situation before where it's really hard to gather past default time, but I'm hoping that once these other players develop, this is gonna be really good for Michigan. It's just getting on, and there's still plenty of time in the season. That third spot is going to be very interesting to watch for. So hopefully we'll see something like that soon and see Michigan back in. Once Krog's able to play, that'll be fun. Oklahoma versus UCLA. Big result here. 495 to 489 win in favor of Oklahoma. So 104 from Golden, Caleb 87, JWT 85, Tekadessa 76, Breto Bias 75, Rhino 68. Meanwhile, for UCLA, Cairo 138, Joy 95, D-Mouse 93, Zane 56, Emil 56, Sorain 51. Oklahoma just does this. Oklahoma has UCLA's number in a way. Not all the time, but at least when it matters. And that's like great. And biased obviously because of the Oklahoma jersey now, because I wanted to support my guys over there. Really happy for them. Oklahoma's having a great season so far. A bit of they're getting like these 1 win, 1 loss weeks, but yeah, represent the Oklahoma. Yo, how you doing? But yeah, really excited to see what Oklahoma's able to do here. And this is they didn't have Rumble playing because Rumble didn't make it past Litmus, but yeah. This is it goes to show how good the Oklahoma team is, where they have like 7 players. Yo, Grinding Lounge, how that one was that? I have a war, I think, in 50 minutes, so searching while also talking about this. So I'm probably gonna end stream in not too long. But hey, how is your UTK? Tennessee's having it rough so far. They lost a really close match to University of Iona, or Iona University, and then they lost another match to who they play? Michigan State. They lost to Michigan State, I think. So yeah, Tennessee's I think 0-4 to start the season. I'm pretty sure, or either 0-4 or 1-3, but it's been a bit rougher in Tennessee. Meanwhile, over here, UCLA, Cairo 138, Joy 95, DMS 93. That's what you're expecting. You're expecting to see this a lot from UCLA, where Joy and Cairo really lead the way, and D-Mouse is getting really good, really fast. And then can the rest of UCLA, when are they going to develop at to this point? And be interesting here. Okay, hold on. I might have found for next hour. Sorry, so I'm like also doing that. The Sokichi about this race is so funny. I saw that. What? I have to watch the VOD. So here's the thing. I'm not to be that guy, but Oklahoma is more often a team that blows leads instead of comes back. So to see them have a comeback here, that's great. I love that from Oklahoma. But it's like I remember doing a lot of VOD reviews, and it's like they are up going into the last GP, and then they kind of falter, or they have a lead, then they lose it in a GP, and then they win. That's basically the story of their first one. But Oklahoma having that comeback win? Oh man, that makes me so happy. You don't even know. Sorry. Found the team to war next tower. Oklahoma won 3 races total against UCLA. Oh, Yo, plus 22 in Gardens? Nice. I gotta watch the match then. There's a VOD, I'm pretty sure, right? I think I saw someone have the VOD. I'll watch it later when I get a chance. Wait, what is that? I think I said I was gonna review it. My bad. My bad. Yeah, this is great stuff from Oklahoma there. And UCLA definitely shows that they can compete at this level still. We know both these teams are really good, really able to stay competitive. It's just that when Oklahoma gets hot, they get really hot and they get a roll with a lot of momentum. So, love to see that from Oklahoma here with that big comeback win. And then they go right in, and then Michigan, UCLA, 507 to 477, plus 30 in favor of UM, 129 from Hooper, Short 114, Aiden 89, C2D2 89, Toad 60, Cat 26 from UCLA, Cairo 142, Joy 79, Zane 72, Deadly Panda 65, Emil 62, So Rain 57. So the thing about Michigan is like when we knew going in, when the other players outside Whooper, Short, and Crow get good or have good games, then what do you do against Michigan? Because Aiden and C2D2, I knew C2D2 had it. And Aiden is a surprise for me personally, but I'm happy to see it. Because, like, we knew Michigan lacked the depth that the other teams in CKL have right now. They have a great top three, but the top three doesn't always play. So this is a huge win. Remember, this is a team that doesn't have Crow, who's their best player. So to see that Michigan gets this win on UCLA, and like I think that's big, is to see Aiden and C2D2, they both outscore Joy. That is crazy. Short is coach of the season in D1. Arguably, I don't know, reconsidering coaches. Like, if you're playing in the same division, I don't know if we consider them coaches, but honestly, if they have like I think we're doing like captain of it, then like yeah, it's great. I think like captain of the year, Short is probably up there for sure. The fact that I'm also not saying Short is coach of the season in D1 because technically I could be coach of the season in D1, and I kind of want it, but biased. So. Oh yeah, for sure. I think Short is definitely one of the best leaders in the season in D1. But yeah, I don't even think we're gonna do coach awards because like really, what kind of coaching? Oh, how many teams actually have a coach? Oklahoma has 5, so the market is kind of stolen. For sure, not biased. So no, if I get coach of the year, it's just called we get staff of the year because there's too many coaches on Oklahoma for me to take all the credit. I cannot do that, honestly. But yeah, this is a big result for Michigan. And then to see UCLA, UCLA, it's rough because like this was something I thought they could have won, but to see that happened, like Miles, like what's it, GV Miles? Former Royal Flush Miles? That's an insane pickup if that's your coach. Holy crap. The moment Miles starts, if that's the same Miles I'm thinking of, oh my god, that would be like legit. Oh my god. UCSD wins. If the moment Miles becomes like a real, like, really involved coach, oh my gosh, that's gonna be crazy. But yeah, UCLA had a rough result here. This is like, sure, it's only a minus 30, but it's like Cairo goes crazy like usual. But I think the other 5 just like got kind of killed out in the pack there, and it happens sometimes. I think UCLA has had a rough season so far, but still plenty of time. Excited to see what goes on for the rest of them. Peach State, Oklahoma. This was a back and forth primetime match. I got to cast this, and that's the reason I got the jersey because I knew I really wanted. I got the jersey the day of primetime, and I was so happy. Got it delivered then. And now we got this is a great match. 500 from Peach State versus 484 from Oklahoma, plus 16 for PSP. Spoon 124, Ray 98, Dynamo 83, Luxstone 76, Spruce 63, Shy Guy 56. Meanwhile from OU, 56 from Brutto Bias, JWT 93, Rhino 84, Golden 81, Caleb 66, Taika Dessa 58. I think, if I remember right, the big turning point of this matchup was Mushroom Gorge, where Peach State got a massive win and on that course and just kind of had the lead, and just it was so late in the match that they were able to just hold it there, because it really required Oklahoma to have a potentially massive race on race 12, and they weren't able to pull that off. But if you're PSP, this is amazing result for them. Yeah, 5 is top 6 on Gorge. I remember casting that, and on one hand, I'm like, this is hype as heck for PSP. What a huge comeback. On the other hand, a little part of me died on the inside, because, yeah, no bias. No full-on bias for Oklahoma, I won't lie. But, yeah, big Peach State fan, too. By the way, this is just a PSA for every team out here. If you have a jersey, feel free to send me the link to them, and if I get the money, I'll buy it and wear it on stream. But I would love to have, like, a collection of, like, CKL jerseys or ECKL, ECRC jerseys. I think that'd be so fun to do. Just wear them, like wear a different jersey on stream every week. When I do my seeding stream next, I'm just like changing jerseys while I talk about each team. That'd be so fun. Yeah, great stuff, honestly, from both teams here. This is back and forth. This was such a good match to watch. Like, I had such a fun time watching this, and it was so good because, like, you saw so many back and forth races. Oklahoma gets the lead, Peach State comes back, Peach State gets the lead, Oklahoma comes back. So close. It really just came down to the last few races. That top 5 of 6 on Mushroom Gorge for PSP was just the nail in the coffin there. That changed the momentum of the match, and I think if that goes differently, Oklahoma maybe wins it. And I think that's the beauty of this. For I saw Faber wanted like the D1 playoff prediction. I think realistically there are 3 teams that have a chance for that last spot. It's Peach State, it's Oklahoma, and it's Michigan. Peach State has arguably the most consistency of them, of the 3 right now. Oklahoma has statement wins, and they were masters of winning close matches. Michigan has the best top 3 though of all 3 of those teams. So it's like really it's just going to come down to who has like that kind of like depth to really make sense of it, and who's going to be able to get hot at the right time. I would love to do a more deeper analysis, but I do have to end stream not too long from now. So you will get the more deep analysis next week when we go over the D3 results, because after the week 3 results, because you have a lot more to talk about there. Speaking of week 3, this was the week 3 matchup, I'm pretty sure, and then this is week 2. Okay, that is week 3 matchup. So we'll talk about that last. Because, oh my god. Yeah, oh wow. Nice. So, the last week 2 matchup, UCSD versus PSP. 514, the 470, plus 44 in favor of UCSD. The thing is, so for UCSD, 103 from Zach, 103 from Waluigi, Super FX 81 in 8 races, Astra 73, Top at Bear 73, Flight 55, Luna 26 in 4 races. So this is the UCSD I'm used to seeing, and this is like great result from them because you know there's like 4 players on here, 4 or 5 players who can legitimately score 100 points, and that's so cool, admittingly. So like having Zach, Waluigi, SuperFX, Astra, Top Hat Bear all playing well, and like remember SuperFX didn't play all 12. So 103, yeah. 103. I'm so used to seeing the 103 from UCSD that I'm like, when you don't do it, I'm like, what happened? And yeah, you got two 103s this time. But yeah, when they are on top of their game, UCSD is such a hard team to beat because, like, Michigan, yes, has a big three. UCSD has like a top 4, top 5. UCSD really has the depth that Oklahoma has, but kind of like up a little bit. Maybe not necessarily the 6th best player. They don't necessarily have a top 6 like that, like Oklahoma does, but they have like a top 5. They're very reminds me a lot of like Peach State, kind of. And yeah, having a balanced team makes it so much easier and it's so much better to stay back and back because, like, yeah, you have so much flexibility in your lineup, and I was such a big thing about like depth matters so much in CKL, and the fact that UCSD is winning is proof of that. And then if you're looking at PSP, shoutouts to Ray for dropping a 94 and MVPing for PSP. Because you got Spoon with a 91, Shy Guy 83, Luxstone 74, Dynamo 74 also, and then Spruce 54. This is a close result all over, and I'm so happy to see Ray do well. Because having Ray play like this just shows so much promise from PSP. And I think, like, I saw that Top at Bear said that PSP, I think, is his pick to be like that 4th team, the 3rd team in playoffs. And you can tell that Ray has been grinding, as they mentioned it, and we love to see the grind pay off. But yeah, massive results for them, honestly. So PSP, despite this being a loss, this is not a bad loss whatsoever. Really able to show that consistency, and this is kind of an off game for Spoon. So if they're able to get this going next time, this could be really close. And this is like a week 2 matchup, so they get the run back, and that's going to be fun to watch. Okay, and now we'll talk about the week 3 matches that happened, just because why not? Oklahoma 495 to Kutztown 489. Massive. This was such a big result. I remember seeing the table for this come out, and I was like, there's no way. I was so happy. Like, what a result. 98 from Rumble, Broto Bias 97, Golden 97, Rhino 82, Caleb 73, That Big Brown Boys 48. Then from Kutztown, Tech 136, Bapu 119, Bo 95, JK 852, MC 46, Anomaly 41. America's team! This was, yeah, Oklahoma. So here's the thing. Oklahoma has beaten every team in D1 with the exception of UCSD. And they've come really close against UCSD. Because they've beaten Kutztown now, they've beaten Michigan, they've beaten UCLA, they've beaten Peach State. Between syllabus week and now. There's no reason to believe that Oklahoma can't make playoffs. Like, they win these close matches. Like, there's just something uncanny about them winning these close matches. Like, their differential is not going to look very good. That's a shame if it goes to that tiebreaker, because, like, Oklahoma doesn't have big wins in points, but they will have maybe some rough losses, but, like, they will win these close matches. Yeah, I think, legitimately, it might come down to that next run back. The Oklahoma Peach State matchup might determine who makes that last spot. And that's going to be so fun to watch. And, like, I remember, like, when the media staff for CKL was talking about, like, who we want on primetime, and it's like, yeah, we really wanted Oklahoma Peach State because we knew how close that was going to be and how important that would be down the line. And that's going to be good going forward in the season, too. And overall from Oklahoma, this is a great combined effort. Yes, Rumble is our GOAT for the 98, but Brett Tobias and Golden also dropping the 97s. To see 3 people on Oklahoma score 90 is great. And yeah, this is the first time I feel like I've seen Oklahoma drop less than 50, but overall, great result from Oklahoma, top to bottom. Like, this team is so deep. This team is such a good group overall, and I'm so excited for this team. Like, going into the second half of the season, they get a week off, basically. But if they're able to play, that's going to be so hype. Oh, that's great. Calling out in the back, yeah. I'm such a thing. Like, I know it's a hot take sometimes where it's like, callouts in the back are like less important, but like to some, but like you get so much information from the back, especially at a higher level when you understand that when you understand like what the bagging is going to be like and like the signs it tells. When Oklahoma has that, it's amazing. And yeah, what Top of Bear says, Oklahoma has a top 10. Like, there's so many players in Oklahoma who we haven't seen yet, and they're all good. Like, what's the name? Like, Smiley Miley is like, I remember just seeing the TTs and I'm like, who is this? Who's all this? Because I was like, excuse me? Smiley Lovely is also good. Yeah, I'm just looking at this and then like, Oklahoma is like deep. They're like scary deep. They're like, the moment they get a second team, which I think will be next year, oh man, that might be like one of the best second teams ever. Legitimately. Like, what do you do? Yeah. Yeah, Rumble, Angle and I were talking about this. When we saw that Smiley got the 157 on R-Dubs, we're like, how? Who? When did this happen? Who is this person? And it was like kind of demoralizing because like R-Dubs is one of my worst courses. Personally, I'm so bad at it. But to see the 157, it's like, excuse me? And for Kutztown here, great performance from their top 3. Oh, okay, that's what I thought. So, like, if you're Kutztown, yeah, their bottom. It's similar to what happened against Ontario United last season finals. The players out of the top 3, they're a little less consistent than the rest of the group. We know that Tech, Bat, Boo, and Bo will normally put up well, and Stephen didn't play here, which is rough. But if they're able to get like that extra production from that bottom half, this team is going to be horrifying. Kutztown was so close to winning this matchup as well, but hey, Oklahoma has the 1-1 now, and that's an amazing result. And then Oklahoma versus UCSD. This was close up until like the end. That's so weird because Kutztown on Royal is like one of their best courses. And historically, Oklahoma on Royal is not it. Like, if we're being quite honest, Kutztown is like really good on Royal. Oklahoma has kind of had their moments, and then they've kind of had some really rough times on Royal. Oklahoma, so this is what I mean. Oklahoma against UCSD. This is 523 to 461 in favor of UCSD, plus 62 overall. Super FX 108, Zach 100, Wallabies 88, Astra 85, Top Hat Bear 73, Flight 69. Meanwhile, Oklahoma, Brought to Bias 100, Rumble 92, Depic Brumble 89, Golden 81, Cable 52, Rhino 47. So, if you are UCSD, this is a good comeback moment there. Because, yeah, I remember hearing that Oklahoma was up going into the last GP and then UCSD just locked in. I remember looking at the Soka-G after this, I'm like, whoa, big race. And it happens. But overall, if you're UCSD, this is a great result for them. So, really excited to see what they're able to do here. Because, like, having Super Effect Zach, Wallabies, Astra, Top Bear, this team is so deep. And their top 6 is so good. And they're able to just, like, keep this going, and it's like, wow. UCSD is, like, one of the favorites this season for a reason. It's them, Kutztown, and really any other team after this could just be so good. You know a right player that can run Paris? Excuse me? Doesn't Tobias play inward still? You know a person on the team has dropped 100 in match yet? It's coming soon, I'll say that. At the rate you're playing Top at Bear, it's coming soon. And then, yeah, Oklahoma, Brett Tobias 100, Rumble 92, Dapic Bravo with a comeback game also. This is solid. I think it's really just going to be coming down to the last 4. I'm hoping I can like take a look at it there to see what's happened, just to get an idea of what's been happening. But really excited here. No, yeah, it's a testament to how good UCSD is. But overall, for Oklahoma, this is not a bad result. It shows that they can contend. They are a GP away from beating UCSD. They're a couple races away all the time. It's just going to come down to those like races, those like extra races. And I'm wondering if you're OU, the run back for this is going to be interesting because they'll play this will be the last match of this regular season for D1. So that will actually mean a lot potentially for playoffs. So like more so for Oklahoma than UCSD probably, but that's going to be very crazy here, and that's exciting to think about. Okay, now I promise I don't know I would show this. I was gonna say I saw Rhino dropping the 47, and I'm like, that's not happening again. There's no shot that ever happens again. But yeah, we're gonna end stream with this amazing stuff from I don't know. I can't do the Godoovish voice, but the Yoshi and then the Goji the Yoshi. That is amazing. Oh yeah, I don't expect UCSD to let off at all. Number one seed isn't secured. Okay, so while we look at Yoshi Goji memes, any questions we have so far before I end stream? Or it's because I have war in 30 minutes and I do need to actually set stuff up for that. Ooh, a question. Rumble shout out for player of the week. I'm totally down. Yeah, Rumble's player of the week. For sure. That's totally not biased because one, Oklahoma jersey, two, we're teammates in the MKC scene. That's a good question. Why does Oklahoma have one more point than PSP in the week 2 standings? You remember the whole 20-point rule that happened last season? We said we got rid of it. The thing is, the sheets themselves are like, well, we'll talk about this now. So, like, I'm not going to leak the Google Sheet online, but if you want to know why Oklahoma has 7 points instead of 6, it's because of, it is a 20-point rule. We tried getting rid of it in the sheet, but I will not lie to you. Whatever MKU staff was doing, like, 4 years ago, that is, like, a mess to sift through, especially as someone who only took one computer science class and has no idea. You would think this is a really simple coding. It's not. It's really not. So, like, ignore this. There's no 20-point rule. The problem is that then the differentials become like the tiebreakers are kind of messed up in that aspect. But I think if it would be Peach State is over Oklahoma because of tiebreaker, it's the one thing we don't like about the 6-team format is that the tables are outdated. You would think it's easy to do this all manually, but like I learned the hard way, it's surprisingly not. So, but really, that's basically the only reason. Technically, it's Peach State over Oklahoma because of differential, head-to-head, stuff like that. 14 playoffs will go hard. If it wasn't for the fact that it would be like 2/3 of the division in 6s, that'd be perfect. If we still had 18 playoffs, then yes, it would be 4 teams, and it would be 4 teams. It's just because of it's a this season only thing because of the format. So unfortunate, but that's basically it. We start getting NBA playoff territory. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're gonna have a play-in match for the last like spot in playoffs, basically, where 4 and 5 play each other, then 3 and 4 3 plays the winner of 4 or 5. 14 teams, 10 made playoffs. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of a lot of teams making playoffs personally, but hey, some teams do. The 10 though, 10 is weird. I was thinking 8 makes more sense there, actually, just because of that. But I know some formats are interesting, like the collegiate league I did for Smash. It was every team with a 500 record made it to playoffs, and that's kind of sketch, to say the least. So, but I think that's going to be it. Any other questions before I end stream today, chat? If not... Oh, 10 gave us 3 groups of 5. Oh, okay. That makes sense then. So it's that kind of playoff format. GG's. Okay, so if you want the look ahead for what's coming up, This Saturday, you will see the stream of the LAN I'm running, Steel City Sprint. I'm gonna be casting finals. I'm gonna be running the tournament and casting finals. But you'll get to see a lot of CKL getting the cast. Actually, the majority of casters for my LAN is gonna be CKL. So you're gonna see Angle, Baja. You're gonna see Zay is gonna be casting. Gonna have JK8, Sunset, MC. Wumbo is going to be casting as well. Yeah, so hope to see you guys there. It's not the same time as Paradigm, sadly. So I understand if you can't watch it all, but I think finals will be after Paradigm ends. Semis will probably be after Paradigm also. So on my Twitch channel, if you want to watch Steel City Sprint, feel free to join in. Hoping it's going to be a great event. So, but until next time, guys, thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you guys next week for another episode of CK101. Have a good night, guys.